Hey guys, we're going to be doing a quick run through as far as swapping out some out of the box images regarding a Rocket theme or Fluent theme to be more specific. You can go to rockettheme.org and browse all those WordPress themes, and there's one called Fluent, which I happen to prefer because I'm just really familiar with the theme, and I also use it for my own personal portfolio website. So within reason, I know my way around the WordPress backend and the theme backend of this site. I'm going to try to keep this video relatively brief and also very pointed at just simply swapping out some images. Okay, I think that's a really important thing to really kind of hammer in with folks. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to do is I want to remind you that there's a Fluent backend which you can access by simply clicking on that icon right here. It'll say Fluent theme. So this is the Fluent backend. So when I say that, that's what I'm referring to. When I talk about the WordPress backend, I'm pretty much talking about any of this area. You know, the dashboard, we're going to be in this section. This is the WordPress backend over here. And then there's a FTP or hosting backend as well. And in that area, you're going to see all the nuts and bolts and actual file folders and files associated with the website development, which you've installed as a WordPress site. And so there's that backend as well, which you can access with FTP or file transfer protocol. And I'm not going to be bringing up FTP for the sake of brevity with this video today. But if I did want to do that, I would need an FTP application. And I happen to use Fetch, this little running puppy dog down here. And then you would need the credentials to log in so that you can, in a sense, kind of get the keys to the castle and have access to some important things that you really need a higher level of understanding in order to tour around in, because you might accidentally delete something that you don't want to delete. So you can basically break your site really easy when you're on the back end, just kind of messing around. That being said, let's stay focused. And what I want to show you is I've already taken that step and I've gone on into the FTP backend of the site. And I found the location for these generic images that were already on, or basically on the front end of the site, which is what the user sees, right? So there are all these sort of generic images that say sample image over and over again, and they're kind of this boring grayscale. But there's some important, they may all look the same, but there's actually some important information associated with these, because they're giving you some hints as far as what you should be doing with your own website as far as dimensions. Okay, so what we're going to do is well, first of all, let me kind of compare what this file structure over here looks like compared to what we're seeing on the front end of the website. So again, I found this folder location with all of these generic images peppered inside, and then there's a file folder called home. So if I click on that, you'll see expanded, you'll see extension, header, slideshow. Okay, and then if we click on pages, you're going to see about us. For example, here's the about us page, right? So there's a main bar and then there's a showcase. So in other words, you can kind of map out or reverse engineer. I mean, some really good cues and hints are happening here. Now, you may have noticed that, in a previous video, you may have seen me using Photoshop to basically go through and add color to these images diagrammatically, because it helps me to understand where all, in addition to the architecture of the file structure here, seeing the color, because I'm a very visual person, helps me a lot. But I also see this as an opportunity to kind of just reinforce and really hammer in this idea of uploading your own images and uploading these sample images or replacing them and getting rid of this kind of boring background is a really good beginning. But eventually what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at the dimensions of these images. For example, I know that this is a slider image, this sort of yellow mustard color. Look at, you can kind of see it just sort of fits right in there, right? But eventually I'm going to want to replace that with my own photograph or my own documentation of a drawing or painting or whatever. But you can see that this image is 1200 by 690. Okay, so that's the information that is very, very crucial moving forward. You need to know these numbers. You can't just plop in any images in any of these locations. It doesn't work that way. These modules are not going to crop your images. For example, what if in this slideshow, there are many different images. They all look the same right now, but they're actually different images. If you were to upload your own images and all 3 or 4 of these slider images were different dimensions, it would look wonky. It would look unprofessional. It would look crazy. That's why this is really important, you guys. So again, I've just simply added some color to these things. I'm going to plop them in. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to the media section of your WordPress backend, and then you want to click Add New. And you can do the select file function, which is pretty nifty. You can just drag things over. So, and by the way, I'm not going to drag all 6 of these over because they're all the same. So I'm just going to drag one. And let's see, I'm going to drag one of these guys. And I'm going to drag one of those guys. And these are the little profiles. So if you look on the front page of the site, there are these little like itty bitty profile areas, for like I'm actually just going to remove that. Some of this stuff I don't want on the website. Like, I don't think I want that, so, WordPress is pretty flexible, dependent on the theme. So you can sort of customize things essentially, okay, and have a little bit of fun. So, wow, that was really easy. We simply just dragged them over and now they're in our library. 1, 2, 3. Well, look, there's pretty much 3 sections on the front page of the site. 1, 2, 3. And guess what? They're all going to be a different color. So the mustard is going to go here, the orange is going to go here, and that lime green is going to go down here. Okay. Let's take care of this, and then we'll take care of this background image as well. I'll show you how to do that, which is kind of fun. So let's see. Now I need to go to the Fluent backend, and I need to go to the home page. And you can kind of see when I know I'm going a little fast because I'm trying to keep this video relatively brief, but you can access the layout for all of the pages that have currently been created here. But there's a really important layout page called Home. You don't want to change that much. You might want to disable some things. I'll leave it up to you, but what I've been noticing is that when students are turning things on and off, things get crazy really, really fast. You guys, my honest advice, don't do a darn thing that you don't see me doing in any of these videos. Don't do anything that if you don't see me doing it in any of these videos, don't go rogue, please. You'll regret it. You'll make some mistakes and you won't know how to undo them. Okay, that's my honest advice. That's what I've noticed, not just with students this semester, but with previous semesters. So watch these videos very carefully. These videos are a real asset to you because although I may be going through information relatively quickly, you can watch these videos over and over again. You can pause them, you can rewind them. Please do not go in and do things that you do not see me doing. Don't add plugins. You're only going to have this website for a few weeks, and then you're going to have to go and make your own new website somewhere else. There's no reason to do anything except to follow directions so that you know how to run the software. So I know I think what you're noticing there is me as a response to me seeing students totally go off the road and basically borderline break their sites when it was, in my opinion, a little bit unnecessary. So the homepage really kind of looks the way that a front page looks. So you're going to see an area for a menu appear. And by the way, that's faded. It's faded for a reason. Don't unlock this. If you don't see me unlock this, don't unlock it. There's a slider area. Here is the slider right there. It says slideshow. That's a pretty good hint, right? This, they do want you to go in and make some modifications, which we're about to do. Then there's a header area called case studies. Looks like that's this area right here where you can add case studies or projects like design projects, photo projects, things like that. So that's what's going on there. That's the module for that thing. Now, if we keep going down, look at, here's the info list and the testimonial slider. Here's the info list and the testimonial slider. Whether we keep that, I don't know. Pricing table. So you can kind of see it's very, very intuitive. Here's the pricing table right there. And then there's a simple menu, which can be modified really easily. Like all of this stuff, it's kind of right there on the front page, and it's very chronological, kind of showing you how things are working. So when you approach these pages, I want you to realize that there is a method to the way that things are laid out here. And don't come over here and start dragging things over and customizing. You're not ready for that, okay? You're just, trust me, you're not ready. You're not ready. I only want you to just come in here and make some very subtle, brief changes. And it's going to make you feel so good. But if you come over here and just start thinking, oh, I'm just going to start dragging things around, ooh, you are going to be sending me an email in about a week and saying, Professor Bollinger, I don't know what I did, but it's not working. And then I'll ask, what did you do? What changes did you make? And you're probably not going to remember exactly what you did to break the site, all right? So one thing I do want you to do is take a look at these images that I've given you. I did it very purposefully because I want you to do this. We're going to change. We're just going to simply click on the blue gearbox. And then you can click on particle items here. We're going to change these to 1, 2, 3. Notice I'm clicking on the little pencil so I can edit things. 4, 5, 6. Now all I want to do is switch out the image. I want to get rid of the avatar because remember, I don't think that's necessary. This little profile avatar icon right there. I'm going to just click this little X and then it's just not going to be there anymore. But I do need an image. Let me back up for a second. I click on the little image icon. Then I click on 2023. Then I click on 07 for July because that's the month we're in, July 21st. Notice how I uploaded one image. Remember, I only uploaded one green image. I only uploaded one yellow mustard image and one orange image, but I have multiple options here because it's automatically crunched things down. So the original is the image 02, for example, but then there's 2 additional versions that have been crunched down. That's just if you happen to need it. And so WordPress does that automatically. I'm not so concerned with that right now, but I do know that I need the mustard image as the slideshow. Remember, slideshow, image 1, it's mustard. I've uploaded it. Here it is. Okay. Put that, select. And let's see. I do want to keep this link. I don't think I need the category. I don't need the category link. I don't need the date. I want to keep it simple. That's just me. So this is how I would arrange things personally. Save. I'm only going to use that one image for the time being. Later down the road, I'll add my own images, but for the time being, it's not necessary. Category link, save, apply and save layout, just so that you guys can see these changes happening in real time. Look at that. Pretty nifty. That's the same image. So I am kind of toggling through 2. Oh, look, I haven't changed 3 yet, and that's why it's still as it was. All right. Okay. So I need to go back in and make some additional changes. Click on the blue gearbox in the little blue area. Particle items, go back to 3 and continue making those changes. Image needs to be the mustard slider image that we've uploaded, the full version one, right? The link is good. A regular link is good because can potentially take the user to a page. So we'll leave that. The category link I don't need, and I don't need this category name. So apply 4. And look, I'm just kind of repeating this over and over and over again. Five. Avatar. 6. This, we need to navigate to the image again that we've uploaded. Don't want a date, just don't need that. I don't need it personally. I mean, you guys are going to be able to make a few decisions on your own, but again, my real honest advice is just do exactly what you're seeing on the screen for the time being. Get reckless and crazy later when you're a little more familiar with WordPress, but I would not do a single thing that you don't see me doing in any of these videos. Trust me. Okay, let's check the front page. So that was really easy. 5. Ooh. I guess we missed one. We got to go back. Okay, go back to 5. So slideshow, click the blue gearbox, article items, there's 5. And yeah, we didn't upload or update this image, right? Let's check our work. Now, again, it's important to know that this area for this slider, there are specific dimensions associated. And you can look that up right here. I'm using a Mac, but you can get info from a variety of documents, whether it's a PC or a Mac. And here the dimensions are stated, 1200 by 690. So when you create your own assets or images to upload, you need to follow these directions. You need to see that your image needs to be 1200 by 690 in order for it to fit in this area. Okay. All right. So we've updated this area. let's do something else. Like before we get here, let's take a look at this background image, okay? And I think that background image that I used is currently on my desktop. I called it back.jpg. And I did download this image and I looked at the specs, and this one just happens to be 1200 by 690 again. And so it actually happens to be the same dimensions of the slider image, right? That's pretty interesting. Let's double check that. I would imagine that's not a coincidence. So yeah, 1200 by 690. So, but I want, like, I like my websites to be relatively kind of simple and minimal. And so I downloaded and cropped an image with it's essentially just a simple canvas background. It's plain, not too loud. It's not gonna change the way the user interprets the colors of the images that I'm eventually going to upload. Where'd that go? Back.jpg, there it is. So if I open that guy up, look at that. It's just a real nice kind of simple background. All right, we're going to upload that and replace this. I believe you do that under base outline, and the reason we're going to do it under base outline is because we want that image to essentially be everywhere. Okay, so hold on a second. Styles. So layout is one thing. Okay, but we want to make a global change. That's why we're here at base outline. And we're going to go to styles. Remember, guys, if you don't see me doing something, I wouldn't do it. So you guys are going to see this page and you're going to think, wow, I can go and I can change all these colors. I can change typeface. I can do it. Don't do it right now. You don't need to do that. I know, just if you don't see me doing it in a video, don't do it yourself, okay? But you should do this. Right here, you can upload a new background image. Click the little image icon. That's interesting. Well, I'll tell you what's going on. We haven't uploaded it yet, okay? So we need to go back to the WordPress backend, under Media, add new. Okay. Now the canvas is there. Now we can go back to the Fluent theme. Just so happens it took us right back to the base outline. Go to styles, background image, click the icon, 2023, July. And look at this, we just uploaded that image and now it's available, but it's also been crunched down in multiple different versions. We want to get the big one, back.jpg. Select. Save styles. Don't change any of the typeface or fonts. Don't change any of these colors. Don't do it. You don't need to. You're tempted, but don't do it. Come back here. Hit refresh. Ooh, that's looking a lot better, right? So we've got these, or that one image repeatedly planted within these different slider opportunities. And we've got this really kind of fun background image to work with initially. So we're making some progress, okay? All right, now we're going to update these, but I'm gonna delete some of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, because that's a lot. And I want you guys to know that you can have as many of these as you want, but for the sake of time, I'm only going to update 4 because we don't need to look at this all day long, this video. So let's go to our backend. Let's, we've already uploaded the image, which by the way is the orange image, right? We know that because if we come over here and just kind of look at the images that have been given to you, and by the way, this should be up on Blackboard or the LMS, so this should be available to you. If not, email it to me and I'll send it to you. But look, there it is. We know that those are, look at all these different sizes that they were using. It's a little bit crazy. Now I know in an earlier example, with the sliders, I was saying they all need to be the same size. And here they're adding some variety. Uh, I did not actually do that on my version of the website. So if you go to you can kind of see that I'm using a consistent, just simple square format for my area. That's my preference, okay? So let's go to the theme background again, but then we need to go to the home page because that's where we're making the change currently, because this is on the home page. So we need to go to the home page layout. And again, here's the slideshow. Here's the header with the case studies, and that's where we're going to be adding or changing those images. Click on the blue gearbox. And you can kind of see the 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 different categories: menu editor, pickers, blah, blah, blah. Menu editor, layout manager, pickers, style manager. So again, a lot of this WordPress stuff is just kind of simply making observations and reverse engineering and cautiously making changes. And I'm going to change these categories. Category 1, category 2, category 3, category 4, and this could be like paintings, drawings, lithographic prints, photographs. I don't know. If you're in design, it could be illustration, publication, web development, whatever. Then you click in, and you'll see some additional options here. And remember, I mentioned that I don't want to have. I don't want to change too many of these guys. So I am going to keep things pretty simple. Okay, guys. So I'm going to only have 4 categories instead of 16. It'll be easier on the time for today's purposes. Click on the little pencil to edit. 1, 2. Oops. 3. Now let's see how things look on the front end. Okay, so now we just have 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how the layout kind of like goes back and forth. My preference is consistency because I have, a design background, and it's just the way that I'm built. All right, folks. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the particles. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one right here. I want the layout to be default bottom and light. Default bottom and light. Default bottom light, we're already there. Default bottom light. And the other thing, all I have to do at this point is just simply switch out the images. Pretty easy. I should get rid of this RocketTheme URL too, and I'm going to plug in just a £sign it. That's a placeholder, right? And then I want the target to be self because I don't want to tick the user outside of the website. Okay, and we don't need a subtitle. And then we just need to update this image with the plain orange one, right? Need that. pound sign. So, and this is pretty repetitive, but that's good because then you can kind of essentially really hammer this information and process into your thinking. Web development really is just a whole lot of repetition, guys. Especially after you figure it out, then you're like, wow, this is, I mean, it's kind of like driving. If you do a familiar drive, in a sense, sometimes you kind of lose time because you're so familiar with the road. Let's see how things look. But that doesn't mean that you can't occasionally make a mistake. So look at that. So it's really nice. I'm setting up some ducks to receive some new information. Okay. Now, I think that this next section would be valuable if you're creating a website for like a graphic design firm or a marketing firm, because you do want some testimonials from previous clients. Because if folks want to hire you and create a contract with you, they want some assurance that you're going to close the loop and complete the job. So this could be handy for design students. In my opinion, this is less handy if you're simply creating an art portfolio website. And so the next thing we're going to do is remember I said, don't do anything unless I do it. Well, I'm going to disable something right now. I only want you to disable this. Don't disable anything else unless you see me doing it, but do disable this, okay? So we just worked with case studies. And here it is, the info list and the testimonial slider. And see how it's 50 and 50. I want to tell you guys something else. Don't just drag this stuff around. Please don't do that. Leave it at 50 because it's so nice having the rocket theme just set up just to accept information, and it's going to work and it's going to look beautiful. Embrace that, please. To turn off a module, it's very simple. Click on the gearbox, turn it off. Don't touch any of this stuff. You don't need to modify it, and then you just apply and save. Turn it off, apply and save. Much more clean, simple, effective. We don't need this pricing table. Now, this would be handy if you were, for example, going to offer packages for doing web development. So, you could have like different tiers of packages, because you guys need to start thinking about how you're going to go into business for yourselves and how you're going to sustain yourself financially. And so this is one of those opportunities. But again, because I'm doing a portfolio website for a traditional artist, I don't believe that's necessary. So I'm going to turn off the pricing table. By the way, I can always turn it back on again down the road. But for this particular purpose, in this video, I am turning, let's see, 3 things off. 1, 2, 3 on the front page of the website, but nothing else currently. There you go. I'm going to leave that for now. Okay. And actually, where is that? I believe it's this one right here, the newsletter. And so you can kind of come in here and figure out how to add your you're trying to develop an email bank so that you can essentially kind of market your work and your process and what you're doing with potential clients or buyers. But that's a marketing thing. And I will leave this for right now, but you could easily turn it off, in my opinion. Now, this is interesting. Look, there's one more sample image that we need to change on the front page of the site. And guess what? It's the green one. This is going to be, I think, pretty darn simple. So let's see, the vertical slider, particle items, and let's click on that. Here's the green image. Select, apply, and save. Let's just test this. I want to make sure. Yep, there it is. So you can kind of see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. And the rest have not been changed yet, right? But we can do that pretty darn quickly. Oops, wrong location. Happens. Vertical slider. I'm not going to change any of the information right now. This particular video. 3. And 4. 5. Now again, now you guys know the dimensions of this image. So the next round of image updates that you would make are with your own images or photographs or whatever you have in your bank as far as your work and your process. But we've really kind of updated the front end of this site to be more useful. And I think this is pretty intuitive. You can go in here and update these links. Do that, of course, down here. The secondary, it's called a secondary menu. They're calling it a simple menu as well. But if you click on the blue gearbox, look, services, useful, legal, social. We're reverse engineering, services, useful, legal, social. So you can kind of get these hints as far as where you should be going and making changes, okay? The other thing that I would advise you guys to do is keep a journal. If you're about to do something that you think is kind of big on a website, then just jot down a few notes so that you know what you did, okay? For the sake of time, I'm not going to go in and change, for example, the About Us page or the portfolio page. But for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of these guys can be changed. Now, if we go to the portfolio, like if we click on pages and then portfolio, you're going to see these 4 green images that would plop right in here. And then you're going to see these lime green images again that would live down here. And so you can start connecting those dots and making sense of things. Again, the reason that we're doing this is essentially so that you can A, get some practice, but B, you're going to want to start creating your own assets at some point, and you're going to need these dimensions. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. And I appreciate you guys listening to me. And occasionally my tone escalates. I'm not frustrated. I'm just trying to be direct with you guys because I want you to succeed with WordPress. Okay. Thank you.